Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are in the Medina's house in our weekly class. First class is Halachot. Today it's something new. Today we're going to study Be'ezrat Hashem, some laws of Bein Hametzarim. Bein Hametzarim are called, these are the 3 weeks in between the 17th of Tammuz till the 9th of Av. It's a day when the siege started against Jerusalem many years ago, and the temple was destroyed. The 2 temples were destroyed, both of them on the 9th of Av. Ever since we mourn. When the first temple was destroyed, it was 70 years in between the 2 temples. In these 70 years, we have the story of the Megillah. It happens right there. And then, for these 70 years, the people of Israel were in exile, and we mourn over the destruction of the first temple. But when they rebuilt the second temple, it was their celebration. So the 9th of Av was a Yom Tov. They celebrated, they were happy, they eating and drinking. But then, 420 years later, the Romans destroyed the second temple. In the middle of this 420, for the second temple, the Hanukkah story, okay? Everybody put their eyes over, everybody wants Beit HaMikdash. Everybody wants the temple. People from far countries. What they have with the Jews, what they want from the Jews, we don't know. Iran of today, we're not sharing any borders. What they want from us. So I'd like to say thank you to Medina's family for hosting the shiur. For special thanks to Hannah Medina works very hard to upload all this. Every time you enjoy, I hope you enjoyed the classes. Thanks to Hannah. Where's Hannah? She's coming. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihyo bidvaro. Okay, Rochelle is I believe it's all right, huh? She said anything? Let me start earlier today. Okay. I think they're coming. אמר לך שהוא בא מאור?
היה אמור לנסוע אחריו, ראיתי אותו, כנראה קיבל עבודה.
לא, בדרך, הם צריכים לבוא. הולך לאסוף אותו. Okay. Now, you know, there's some restrictions. There's some things that we prohibited from doing. These 3 weeks. For example, taking haircut. You can do it till after Tisha B'Av. What about listening to music? If we mourn over the destruction of the temple, there's some restrictions. We don't even say She'ehyanu. She'ehyanu is a special beracha. It's a special beracha you do over new things you buy, new clothing, new fruit. But what do you say in She'ehyanu? Thank you, Hashem, for bringing me to this special day. It's a happy day for me that I'm wearing a new suit or shirt or eating something new fruit. It's kind of like not appropriate to say, thank you Hashem that I'm a special day today. What special day? We mourn. Okay, so the Halacha says don't put yourself in places that you might have a problem and you might have to say, She'ehyanu, the special beracha.
Okay. But it's only on food?
No.
Everything.
Not everything, but let's say you buy a new shirt that you like, a new shirt for Shabbat, a new shirt or a new suit,
what you can
or a
say,
new shoes, expensive shoes. You say She'ehyanu.
No, but
you buy a new sofa, you can say She'ehyanu. You buy a new table for home. Things that you buy and makes you happy. Obviously, we don't say She'ehyanu over underwear and socks and stuff like that. Go something that we regularly buy. Okay, it's not a big deal. So there's a question if someone should say She'ehyanu for a new wife. You got married, you should say She'ehyanu. We do say She'ehyanu under the chuppah, but not for the new wife. Because there's a debate. Some say you should, some say you don't. So what we're saying? We're saying She'ehyanu, and we cover for the new furniture we do at home. We say She'ehyanu over the talit. Right? Every chuppah, we're saying She'ehyanu over a talit. So sometimes you can have in mind and for the new wife and the new furniture you might have, I don't know, maybe the new house you're going into.
So I didn't understand. So you
Sheikhanu is basically a blessing that we thank Hashem for giving us the opportunity to enjoy, and so forth and so on. Okay.
but Bein Hametzarim you cannot say that.
You can't. Can't say Sheikhanu. That's the problem. So we have to start with. Okay. So basically, let me start by saying, we had the 17th of Tammuz last Sunday. We had a fast. Coming up, hopefully now we won't have to fast. On the 9th of Av is coming up in, I would say, almost 13 days or so. This coming Friday is the Rosh Chodesh of Av. It says on Rosh Chodesh Av, when Rosh Chodesh Av is come, mema'atin besimcha. Okay? What's the meaning of mema'atin besimcha? We try not to be involved in joyful activities. Less. So it doesn't say don't be happy and don't get involved in joyful activity, but less. Learn from here that you have to be with joy, with simcha, with happiness all year long. Sometimes you increase it, like in Purim. Mishenichnas Adar, marbin besimcha. You increase this amount of joy, and you're involved in joyful activity. And Tisha B'Av is a time we are mourn, and the fast is very strong. It's almost like Yom Kippur. Almost like Yom Kippur. Nobody is exempt. As it says, all Jews are obligated in these 4 fasts. The fast that we mentioned maybe last time. I'm not going to go through all of them now. But basically, in the fast of Tisha B'Av, the 17th of Tammuz, and the 10th of Tevet, and the fast of Esther, okay, and Yom Kippur. Even rabbis or students that they say, I can't fast, I have to teach. I have to fast. Who is exempt from regular fast? Someone that she's a woman that she's pregnant, or sick people, or old that they cannot really fast, or women that she's breastfeeding her child. But Tisha B'Av, everybody must. What about pregnant? She must. Breastfeeding? She must. Only if she's sick, she's exempt. And to eat a little bit, not to start celebration and barbecue and eating before everybody's fasting. Right? Don't take advantage. This year is special. This year, every woman that she is either pregnant or she's breastfeeding her child, she is exempt from every fast. Right. Not every fast, I'm sorry. Yom Kippur, the 9th of Av. Why? This Friday is Tisha B'Av, which means that Shabbat is supposed to be the 9th of Av. But we don't mourn on the Sabbath, so we postponed the mourning days to Sunday, starting from Saturday night. Since the fast day was postponed, moved one day, kind of like loses his strength. And therefore, Rabbi Chacham Ovadia Yosef Paskin, in the book of Yahavedat, in Chelek Gimel, the 3rd part, in Halacha Mem 40, he says that they're exempt. Okay? Pregnant, she's off the hook. And this is a very pretty strong one. It's going to be, I believe, if we start around 8, it's going to be almost 25 hours of fast. A little bit more than 25 hours of fasting. It's highly recommended to stay home, not to go to work, especially in the heat outside. Because you have to drink and you break the fast. This is really bad. Okay.
So you can drive then?
You can drive, you can work, you can do everything. Some people like to work because the day goes by faster. But be careful not to be outside because you have to drink. It's too hot. So do some activities in air conditioning or whatever. Really, if you must, to work. Okay. So we've learned so far very interesting things about even a sick that is already healed, but he's still tired from the antibiotic, or because he was bedridden, is still exempt. There's no problem. Okay, elderly people, of course, they are exempt if they cannot. Some people, I have a year that a guy came to me. It was Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, a guy is an older guy, but he's diabetic, and his sons came to me and he says, "Rabbi, I got to speak with my father." Why? What happens? His father was visiting in Dallas. He says, "Listen, I told him he must eat because he's diabetic. He's taking medication. If he won't eat, he can hurt himself. He can die." So I talked with this guy. I said, "Why are you not eating?" He says, "No, all my life I was fasting. I'm going to fast this first as well." I told him, "But this is very dangerous for you." "Yeah, Rabbi, I really, really bad. I can't eat on Yom Kippur. You want me to eat?" I told him, "Listen, if you eat on Yom Kippur, the Halacha says if you're sick, you're not supposed to fast. You must eat. You fulfill a mitzvah of Yom Kippur by eating, in your case. Because the Halacha not permit, the Halacha for you is mandatory. You must eat, in your case, because you're sick. What if you don't eat, and you get sick, very sick, and God forbid, you die? From Shamayim, from heaven, they're going to charge you for that. They're going to put you through a trial, and you're going to be accused for not following the Torah. Sometimes you fast, some Halacha says you must eat, regardless what you like. Sometimes, it's even more, but we'll get to it, Be'ezrat Hashem. People want to fast, and then they get sick. In the middle of Yom Kippur, they feel very weak. Sometimes there is doctors in the Bet Knesset, in the shul, in the synagogue. So they check them, and the doctor says he can still fast. But the sick person says, "I feel I must eat." To whom you listen? To the doctor or to the sick person? To the sick person, because it says, "Yodea Adam marat nafsho." A person knows exactly how he feels. Even if the doctor says you can fast, but he feels that he must eat, let him eat. Okay? So, during this period, one should avoid Bein Hametzarim, walking alone between the beginning of the 4th sessional hour of the day until after the 9th sessional hour. Did we discuss this last time? Already read this Halacha? Okay, because we've learned that there is a very special time, times of judgment.
Walking alone between 9 and 2.
Right. During this 6 hours period, the evil forces, it's a demon, Shed, his name is Ketev Meriri, Shem Rachem Aleinu, that the Torah calls Ketev Meriri, lurk and waiting for victims. Actually, the Talmud says, it warns that these danger is most prominent from Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, the 16th of Tammuz, and that probability of harm lessens from then on. You get weaker and weaker, but it's still. Which means if you go with company, he can't harm you. If you go by yourself, he can put his bad energy on you and suck the life out of you. Meaning, you're going to feel anxiety and depression, and you don't know what happens to you because he is in control now. It's very bad. When he takes control, it's almost impossible to get you out of this. Some says that you need to be very careful with teachers and parents, of course not to hit their children the whole year, but not to be strict with them during this time, because it's times of judgment. When you get upset, don't yell at them. Careful. It's a time that you can bring chas v'shalom, you can bring a lot of troubles to your children. Especially in these, not you to your wife, not wife to you, and not to the children, and not teachers to the students. It's very special time. Some wrote that one must refrain from swimming in the pool, in the rivers, in the sea, whatever. But this custom is not known to the Sephardim, meaning that it's permitted, you can swim, no problem. Obviously, swimming in places that it's appropriate, it's modest. Boys cannot be with girls. That's not appropriate. It's not modest to be so. There are certain times, hours that it's boys can go. Sometimes the girls can go. Not to mention going to the beach and seeing what they're seeing there. Some places you can find a quiet area in the beach and fine. I remember a few months ago, last year, I went with my family. We drove to, it was last year, we drove to Houston. And from Houston we went to Galveston. So in Galveston we were able to find there's a lot of places on the beach that it's empty, there's nobody there. So we parked the car and let the kids enjoy in the water. It was fun. But maybe, I don't know if you can get lucky all the time, because I think almost an hour later, families started to come, and we packed our gear and we went back home. But be careful to do what is appropriate and what is acceptable in the eyes of Hashem, in the eyes of God. Because God is watching, God is looking. You can't trick God, never ever. Okay, next. We already mentioned about Shechianu. I'm just going to, Shalom, they're just going to come and sit down. We're just going to discuss a little bit about fruit. Someone sees a beautiful fruit. Let's say he saw a guyava. It's the season of guyava. I don't know if the season of guyava now. I don't know. Let's say it is. Okay? You can't take guyava during these 3 weeks, because you will have to say a special blessing, Shechianu. So you can buy it, but you can keep it till after the 9th of Av, which means it's almost 13 days from today. No big deal. Okay? Questions. What about a woman, she's pregnant, and then she sees this special fruit. Oh, I must have a guyava. But if you say you have to say Shechianu, the Halacha is lenient about that. A pregnant woman sees a new fruit during the Bein Hametzarim. It's 3 weeks, as we mentioned, and has a craving for it. She may recite the blessing of Shechianu and eat it. I want you to know that a pregnant woman, whenever she asks, you must give her everything, every type of food. I remember my wife, and years ago, when we had, last time was 8 years ago. So in every child, she had something crazy, something else. It could be chocolate, it could be pizza. There's no problem with chocolate and pizza. The problem when you're going to get it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now in Israel, it's different because everything is closed. In America, it's no problem. You go 24 hours, Walmart, it's open. But in Israel, oh, you know what? Even here in Walmart, 3 o'clock, I want chocolate. Let me sleep. You must give. You must give. Or else, it might hurt the baby. So, Baruch Hashem, when you have one child, when you have 8 children, that's become a project. So, what I did, I left in their freezer, and I left in some places, hidden places, and ammunition. Whenever she asks, I have it. When it's ready. Okay. So sometimes if the woman don't eat it, you can see marks on the baby's body. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's marks on the. You heard about it? I know my mother wants to have to eat some liver, and I have a spot here. It looks like a liver, and some like strawberries and whatever. You can see something similar to it. Tell you more than that. If a woman pregnant walks by a place that makes good food, and she feels she has craving for it, you must give it to her. You must give it to her. What if it's not kosher? You can't. You have to. So what's the trick? By the way, every time you walk, let's say you walk by a falafel or shawarma or places that you can't eat. You can't eat either because it's, I don't know, it's dairy, and you can't eat not because you're flesh, or it's not kosher, or you feel the taste, you feel the craving for it. The Chachamim, the scholars, the rabbi teaches us, you have to spit out the mucus, the saliva that was gathered in your mouth as a result of what you smelled and you craved. Why? Because it's not healthy for you to swallow it. It's going to be like a poison to your body. That's what the Talmud says. So you have to spit. Make sure nobody is next to you, right? You can use tissue. By the way, there's halacha. That's halacha. It's a good anhaga. It's in a good, nice way. Many rabbis, we have a class every Monday that talks about the Jewish home. We're talking about Shalom Bayit. We have peace in the house. So it's very interesting things that we learn how to respect the wife, how to treat her, and what the Torah has to say about it. And also she needs to know how to treat the husband and everything. There's things it's not appropriate for your wife to do for you. For example, some rabbi didn't let the wives to do laundry for socks, underwear, and what do you call the handkerchief? The handkerchief, right? That you blow your nose. Many years ago, you didn't have tissue, so you used to have handkerchief. Disgusting, but that's what you use. They feel, many rabbis, it's not appropriate to let your wife do this part of the laundry. So it's very interesting. And so, in any event, so we've learned today how and what is appropriate to do. Okay, what time is it? Okay. What about dancing? What about music? We mourn. This is 3 weeks. They mourn. Mourners are prohibited in many things. In Judaism, it's different than any other religion. Why? In many areas. One of them, when they mourn over a dead person. So there are 7 relatives that if they pass away, you have to do Shiva, 7 days of mourning, and then the 30 years, and then the 1 year after. So if someone loses, God forbid, his wife, his father, mother, his son, his daughter, brother, sister, this is the 7 relatives. You mourn for 7 days after the burial. According to the Jewish law, you must bury a person immediately. I mean, as soon as you can. Here, I know sometimes they're waiting a week, 10 days, it's in the freezer, because someone has to come from whatever. In Israel, in America, everywhere actually, they're trying to keep the body as less as they can, unless a rabbi permitted, because it's the honor of the deceased when his son comes from far away. Sometimes they wait a day, and they bury him the very next day. So this is part 2, because we had some difficulties with connections. So we've learned that the body has to be buried immediately. Okay? And then there's 7 days. People come and support you and talk to you, because you have to talk. Otherwise, people keeping inside all their anger and sorrow, and it's not good. It's not good to your body. When people come and talk to you, and you share with them, and then they tell you, we lost a father, he lost a father, lost a wife, and they talk, and usually they even make sure there's someone in the house overnight. After 7 days, you're a little bit calm. So, it's not appropriate, someone that buried someone or lost someone, to play music or to sing. Right? We mourn over the destruction of the temples. Many, many Jews, thousands of them, lost their lives with children. The Romans, the enemies, were very cruel. They didn't care about children. ISIS of today, what they do, it's similar to what they do many years ago. Beheading, killing children, mass killing, hundreds of people. Today what they do, it's just a reminder what happened many years ago. And by the way, it says, by the times when Mashiach comes, you're going to see all these atrocities, horrible things that happened many years ago coming back. Who would believe that ISIS is such a crazy organization going to rise up from the dead? אתה יכול לאכול עכשיו. עשה לך בבית. אתה רוצה לשתות משהו חם? טוב. So, we refrain from doing celebrations like marriage and stuff like that. It's not the appropriate time. What about music? So we don't play music during the 3 weeks. We don't listen to music. It's not appropriate. What about singing? Singing, you can sing. Without instrument. For 3 weeks. Shabbat you don't mourn. You can sing. You can sing the whole week. In which case, we can play regular music. For example, if there is a teacher or there is a summer camp, and without music, you can't really handle the class. It's permitted. A woman that she is alone at home and she feels that it's a little bit scary for her to stay alone with no music. So in this case, we permit her, the Halacha permit her to play music. Okay, someone who suffers from depression or anxiety, you may listen to songs and music during Bein Hametzarim. Likewise, if a woman lives alone and the loneliness bears down heavily upon her, she may be permitted to play music to instill some life in the house. This must be decided on an individual basis. What do you mean lonely? You're lonely in your room or you're in the house? Lonely, I'm a Mr. Lonely. You know this song? 10 years ago. Tov. Question about that? No? Okay. The halacha also, the Jewish halacha, I want you to know, does not permit the whole year to dance in a mixed right, in a mixed I don't have it here. Oh, here it is. It is forbidden to dance during the period of the Bein Hametzarim, even without any musical instrument. It makes no difference whether men are dancing alone, or if a woman dancing alone, or if both dance with a partition between them. It's called mechitza, so that the women do not dance in the view of the men. During Bein Hametzarim, dancing is forbidden for 3 weeks. It is absolutely forbidden at any time of the year and at any occasion for men and women to dance together. You can dance with your wife in the house, not before everybody is looking at you. You can't dance with someone else. You think you can dance with another woman? Is this appropriate? No. Can you kiss another woman? Can you hug? Can you shake hands to other women?
Well,
No.
what if this is their job, like a ballet or something, and
You should find another
show
job.
the-
Women
like
can
a
do for
show-
women, men for men. If a man do ballet, I don't know. No, it's permitted. But you understand, this is not permitted. This is really bad. People think that they can kiss and hug. You have your wife, you're with your wife only. You're permitted to your ima, your mother, and your daughter. A wife can be her father and her son and her husband. No one else. Not to you, to your sister, not you to your neighbor, to an old friend, to a new friend. It doesn't matter. You keep all your love to your wife. Your wife, all your love to your husband. That's it. Believe me, you follow that, you're going to have many, many problems. Yeah, away from the house. It's going to be, that's the only way. This, when the Torah teaches you something and you follow, it's a success. It's a shalom bayit. Nobody permits, someone here disagree with me? You think it's easy to be Jewish? But it makes sense. Makes sense. When you, under the chuppah, marry your wife, you made an obligation. I'm with you. And she said, I'm with you. That's it. And now, she is prohibited to the entire world. She's permitted only to you. And you yourself also, only to her. That's it. When you know you have her, and she have you, you make efforts to do peace, shalom, and love. You don't look outside. If you look outside, it means you're not happy at home. You're not happy at home. Why people eating outside? Because he's hungry at home. You know what I mean, right? So the wife has to be smart enough how to play it, and the husband also has to know how to play it. To keep the love in the house. You want to dance with your wife? During Bein Hametzarim, this program, you can, without music. A cappella is permitted. Why a cappella is permitted? Because there's no music, right? Sometimes you hear a cappella, you think there is a music instrument. They do beat, boo, 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 all these noises. It's permitted. You can do that. No problem. And I think we conclude with one more halacha for today about taking a haircut. So we are permitted to take haircut, and there is no problem till Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. It's only prohibited on the weeks that Tisha B'Av is fell into. So let's say Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, is on Wednesday, so it's going to be from Sunday to that Wednesday. This year, it's not going to happen because this year we have on Sunday. By the way, this Shabbat after, if we have to fast, you have to bring in plastic bag or in bag or without the bag, it doesn't matter, Crocs or shoes that made out of plastic or rubber, because right when Shabbat comes out, you have to change. You can't walk with the leather shoes. Okay? It's part of the prohibition, the 5 things that you're prohibited on Yom, on Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. Next week, by God willing, I'll talk about what we can do on the 9th of Av, that Sunday. So it's not the coming Sunday, the Sunday after. Okay, so we're talking about the 22nd. 5 things you're prohibited from.
21st in the night.
It starts from 21st of Saturday night during Sunday till 9:15 p.m. What are the 5 things? We'll learn, God willing, next week. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to say thank you to everybody, all those who support us, and all those who go to our website, Ohev Israel, you'll see it right over here, and make donations to support our organization. Toda rabah.